Spoiler alert! If you have not seen this movie that I'm fixing to talk about, in case I say something or give something away, don't watch the rest of this video. So I watched Mr. Harrigan's Phone from 2022. This starred Jaden Martell and Donald Sutherland and was directed by John Lee Hancock. And it's based upon a short story by Stephen King. This one wasn't really so much horror as it was teen drama, but I still kind of enjoyed it. This kid is basically selected by Mr. Harrigan to read stories to him because his eyesight is bad. So he reads stories to him, and eventually kids at school have phones. This is set, I think, back in 2003, and that's the year I graduated. But yeah, so you have all these different groups, and they have their phones. You have the Android or whatever, and you have the people that have the iPhones, and they all sit together, which is really, really weird because I don't remember any of that. But basically, he ends up getting Mr. Harrigan a phone, and Mr. Harrigan says this is going to be the downfall of the world, basically kind of, you know, the dangers, the evils of a phone, which is so true as to what he has to say about it. But he ends up, I guess, enjoying it nonetheless. He's always on it and everything, and the boy comes over, I don't know how often, but and reads stories to him, and then he kind of got less and less with the paying attention to the story. Mr. Harrigan paid more attention to the phone, and then one day the boy comes over and finds Mr. Harrigan dead, and which that is just like a worst nightmare to find a person dead. But he is buried, and the kid decides to put the phone in Mr. Harrigan's pocket, and later on, after he's been buried, he texts him, and I think he even calls him a few times, and you know, he's texted him, and he gets a weird message on the phone from Mr. Harrigan. So he's like, oh my gosh, we buried him alive. But no, that is not the case. Father says that Mr. Harrigan had an autopsy and he died of heart disease. So there was no way he was buried alive. But yet, the boy continues to converse with the dead man's phone. And he has this bully that beats him up, and he ends up calling Mr. Harrigan because it's the only person he could talk to. He can't really say anything about this boy to anybody else because he doesn't really want to get the boy in trouble, or basically does not want to get himself more in trouble with the boy. So he calls and tells Mr. Harrigan all about it. And then the next day, the boy is dead. He had an accident, and so he kind of thinks he had something to do with it because of, you know, him talking to the phone. And yeah, so ends up he goes on about his life, and he's in college, I think, and he hears that his favorite teacher is killed by a young drunk driver, and he's so upset about it, and he thinks, okay, so this guy is gonna get what he deserves in court of law. But no, he does not. He doesn't get really punished. He ends up having to just go to rehab. So once again, the kid resorts to calling Mr. Harrigan's phone and leaving him a message that he wants this guy to pay. He wants him to die. And after said call, the boy feels guilty, and he's looking all over the internet to see if anything has happened. And at first he can't find nothing, but then there it is, an article where the boy is dead. So he has to come back home and find out what happens. And he realized that there's no way, in the manner of which he died and the things that revolved around it, that this was an accident. That, in fact, his call with Mr. Harrington might have had something to do with it. Now, this movie is not really scary. In those moments, there is, like, you know, a little horror element to it, but this is not really a horror movie. It's more of a teen drama type movie, in my opinion. But I did enjoy it, and I thought it was an interesting story. It's kind of slow, but I liked it. And so that is what I watched. I went to the resale shop the other day and picked up these movies. So, got the Marine 1, 2, and 3. Got that because of John Cena, but I like the Marine movies. I got Stephen King's Storm of the Century, which I possibly could have already. The Ghost Rider movies. You know, I had to get this for my Nicolas Cage collection. Rock vs. Cena, because yes, I must get all the Cena stuff now while I can. The Runner, another Nicolas Cage movie. Legendary, and you know why I got this one. Elemental, which I may already have, but I have not seen yet. Split and Glass. The Dead Hate the Living. I don't know anything about this one, I don't think. Joyride 2 and 3. Blown Away. I love this movie. Yep. Playing with Fire, which I think I have on DVD, but the case is a little messed up, I think. And I have not watched this yet. Big Box of Horror. Night of the Living Dead. The Little Shop of Horrors. Piranha and Maniac. This one has Carnival of Souls. Last Man on Earth. White Zombie. The Bat. Chamber of Horrors. Which I could possibly have these, but the discs were in really good condition, so why not, just in case. And more movies. Zombies versus strippers. That should be lovely. And here are some more. I don't know which ones I've seen and which ones I haven't, but